Liberals are doubling down on this, even more than they doubled down on the agitator who hit the agent with her car. This particular agitator was not there to film. He was there to get in the way. When people get Trump derangement syndrome, they get it bad. It was later revealed that this was not his first instance of agitation. The last time, he broke a rib. That should have been the lesson. However, these people have decided to impede federal investigations. After drinking their own TDS-flavored Kool-Aid, first of all, Noam said that you do not bring a gun to a protest. Liberals have already made the comparison to Nick Sandmann, who brought a gun to a riot. The difference between Sandmann and this agitator could not be more obvious. Second of all, these officers fear for their lives every day, and think of all the people who want to kill them. It is not unreasonable to conclude that someone walking up to an investigation means to harm them, even if the weapon is holstered. Any lawman worth his salt would conclude that it is a possible threat. Third of all, even if neither is the case, this quote should not be attributed to President Trump, but to Joe Biden. I know that this does not fit the straw man that Mr. Sheneman made of conservatives, but I do not think that any company should get any subsidies. They should fail or succeed on their own merits. Furthermore, Mr. Sheneman is just assuming that the money for the Obamacare subsidies just appears. In actuality, it is robbed from the people who are just trying to make a living. President Trump offered a much better solution. Health savings accounts for each person to spend how said person chooses. This eliminates the death panels that inevitably popped up under Obamacare. I do not agree with the way that Secretary Noam phrased it, but she was right. You do not bring a gun to a protest, for the same reason that you do not bring a gun to a school. It is still not the fault of the gun, but the person using it. However, since St. Taillight was a rioter and agitator, he needed a gun with him just in case he needed to fight off imaginary fascists. Okay, since this is Uncle Sam, no constitutional rights have been violated. The Bill of Rights does not technically allow protests. The Bill of Rights does protect the right to peacefully assemble. If you are going to interfere with law enforcement, that is not peacefully assembling. You can film from the sidewalk. Even donate to the defense of an American who was unfairly targeted. But you do not interfere. Imagine interfering with an officer at a traffic stop. That would not work out for you either. This cartoon is arguably true, but misleading. Mr. Ramirez is implying that St. Taillight was filming from the sidewalk. This is not true, as he was an agitator. He actively chose to get involved. And let us not forget the origin of his namesake. He kicked out the taillight of a federal vehicle, which is a felony, by the way. I can only wonder why these same agitators did not get involved during the Obama years. Back then, all of these deportations were peaceful and agitator-free. Is there any evidence whatsoever that Don Lemon was on President Trump's hit list? If President Trump really was this fascist that liberals believe that he is, Lemon would have been arrested before storming the church. Again, Lemon helped storm a church and disrupt services. And let us not forget that he intentionally followed the agitators. However, Lemon should not have any problems with political persecution. After all, he preached the Russia collusion narrative all because of his TDS. However, when he gets charged with an actual crime, suddenly it is the end of the world. Even if we ignore the fact that this phone call was taken out of context as a result of TDS. 11,780 is a very small number, all things considered. Fulton County has admitted that 315,000 ballots were missing a signature from the poll worker. As I understand, this is the poll worker signing off to say that everything is legitimate and legal. 11,780 is less than 4% of 315,000. There is something awfully screwy going on in Fulton County. Mr. Rawl is ignoring the most crucial detail of all. St. Taillight did not even have to get involved in the first place. He was the one who chose to get in the middle of all of this. That being said, officers heard a gunshot. We do know that St. Taillight's model of gun has a problem with misfiring. Either way, you bring a gun to a riot, not a mostly peaceful protest. Therefore, St. Taillight knew that he was at a riot.